What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another exclusive segment from the greatest podcast on turf. We just recorded the podcast, so be sure to go check it out. The link's in the description.
Today we're going to be talking about the Eagles quarterback situation, Jalen Hurts, Carson Wentz, and the possibility of the Eagles drafting a quarterback.
We'll see what happens. I feel like for the past few years now that the Eagles have been in a quarterback controversy. I mean, starting back the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl against the Patriots. I mean, there was controversy there. Carson Wentz had an MVP caliber year, got hurt. Nick Foles comes and takes him to the Super Bowl that whole offseason. I remember Eagles fans talking about, we need to keep Nick Foles. We need to trade Wentz. What do? We need to keep both of them just in case Wentz doesn't live up to the expectation he's supposed to live to, which I think was stupid. Nick Foles sucks. He's a bum. He's sorry. Got lucky in the Super Bowl. I mean, I think Wentz was the guy back then, and I think he's still the guy now. But, I mean, there's always going to be that controversy when your backup quarterback wins a Super Bowl, then you come back, then a year or two after they draft a quarterback in the second round, and there's still always going to be that controversy.
Yeah, I mean, the controversy's there, and I don't think you can blame Eagles fans for saying we want to keep Foles because, you know, they haven't had a Super Bowl in such a long time.
Never.
So,
that was their first time.
Oh, yeah. They had a championship, but never a Super Bowl.
Got lucky.
And, you know, Nick Foles came in there and they won him a Super Bowl, so, you know, there's going to be some fans that are like, yeah, I want to keep Nick Foles. But, I mean, anyways, I still think that the Eagles should move on from Carson Wentz, whether that's Jalen Hurts or whether they draft somebody else. I think it's time that Carson Wentz, you know, just go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's definitely a possibility that Carson could use a change of scenery. I mean, you see this year, he was having a bad year, and then he got benched, which, I mean, he kind of deserved it. But, I mean, just to think that there's definitely a possibility that they draft a quarterback. I don't think that's out of the picture at all. I think it depends how the draft board goes, whether they want to take a chance on another North Dakota State quarterback in Trey Lance, which I think he'll probably be the only quarterback available when they pick. So I don't think they do that. I mean, I can't see them trading up.
I mean, Zach Wilson might be there. Justin Fields might be there.
That's what I'm saying. It depends on.
I think one of those two might be there.
Yeah, like we talked about on the podcast, I mean, it seems that the new Jets head coach, Robert Saleh, is pretty sold on sticking with Sam Darnold. So it looks like they could be out of the picture on a quarterback the Jets could. So, I mean, it just depends on the way that the draft board flows.
I mean, if they're out of the picture, then, I mean, I think the only team that's looking for a quarterback is the Jaguars and, I mean, the Falcons, if they are.
I think the Falcons are definitely in the market for a quarterback.
So I think that's it.
But yeah, I mean, I think that there's other teams that could trade up for a quarterback, and I just don't think that the Eagles should trade up, like due to like the lack of assets they have and their cap situation and stuff. It probably wouldn't be the smartest. Yeah. But I think it's definitely an option they draft a quarterback. But I think they should stick with Wentz. I mean, they traded up for the guy. He's their boy. I mean, it's just did they? No, I don't think they traded. I think the Rams traded up that year.
I'm pretty sure they traded up to get Carson Wentz.
Yeah, no, I think I'm wrong on that one. But yeah, I mean, they traded up for him. He looked terrible this year. He was okay the year before, and then 2 years ago, he had an MVP year. I just think that the reason he's looked so bad is I just think it's like all mental. I mean, you tear your ACL on the year of your life, then your backup wins the Super Bowl, and they build a statue of him at the stadium that you got to walk past every day. That would take a toll mentally. Then you come back, they give her to Nick Foles, and you're the guy, and then they draft a quarterback in the second round when there's other big needs. That would definitely affect me mentally. So, I mean, I think that could be a reason why he's looked the way he's looked. But I don't think that the Eagles should give up on him just yet.
But these things, I just don't see them changing. I mean, yes, they fired Doug Peterson, who was an advocate for Jalen Hurts, but still at the same time, Jalen Hurts is going to be competing against him the whole offseason, and I don't think they're tearing down that statue of Nick Foles. So
yeah, I don't think they tear it down either.
No, but I think he might just need a new location, new scenery, because, I mean, there's reports of him, you know, going against Doug Peterson and coaching, you know,
changing up audibles and stuff. I remember them reports
doing stuff like that.
He was kind of just doing his own thing on the field and not listening to Coach
Refusing
Peterson.
Advice. I mean, he might just be ready to go. He did not have a good year this year.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts came in. I'm not saying Jalen Hurts was great, but he did provide a spark.
He wasn't exceptional, but he bought that spark for the 2 weeks, and teams got film on him, and he was just another average quarterback.
He still had, you know, a pretty good college career. He's one of Lincoln Riley's guys.
We're Sooner, baby.
You know, Alabama guy. So he has the talent. It's just I mean, there's already reports of them saying that they want to keep Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I did see that. My dad was telling me about it, actually. He said that he saw an article on Facebook or something that every head coach and candidate that the Eagles have interviewed has been told that they want to stick with Carson Wentz and that he's their guy, which is definitely interesting. I mean, I can see both sides. Like, I see what you're saying about Hurts. I see what we're saying about drafting a quarterback, and, like, they could stick with Carson Wentz. I think if he does leave, he'll be a Colt or a Raider, just because I think Frank Reich with the Colts, I mean, that was the year Carson Wentz killed it with the Eagles, had his MVP year before he got hurt. And, I mean, the Raiders, John Gruden and Mike Mayock, they were very high on him when Carson Wentz got drafted, and, like, his whole rookie year and stuff, they were very high on him. And I think the Raiders could be in the market for a QB also.
The Eagles are in a very rough spot since they already paid him. I mean,
absolutely.
They have
that's another thing I meant to touch on. His contract is definitely could affect his draft value.
Yeah, I mean, his contract isn't crazy for the time. Like, he was playing really good, and they offered him a pretty high contract. But if you look at these other quarterbacks that are getting paid, it's not as much as them. You know, like when he got the contract, I was actually mad because I wanted Dak Prescott to get that contract, and since the Eagles beat him to it, I figured Dak was going to start asking for more money.
Which he did. And
which
he's probably going to get now.
Yeah, probably, if we have it. But anyways, I mean, I think Carson has had a bad year, and I think he might just need that change of scenery. I think, you know, drafting Jalen Hurts was a mistake. Yeah, not that he's a bad player, but it just creates too much controversy. They're in a really bad spot right now.
And when your team has other major needs, receiver, linebacker, even corner, offensive line, receiver, I don't know if I already said it, it's just like that big of a need. They have so many other needs, and then you go take a quarterback in the second round when there's so many other good prospects out on the board that you could have helped your team. I mean, my question is, what do you, if you will trade for Carson Wentz, what do you, like, as a GM, what do you offer them?
They're not getting much for him.
I mean, it all depends.
First and maybe another pick.
I mean, I could see like a first and a fourth, maybe a third. It just all depends on if you're willing to take the risk on him playing like his contract is. Like, if you want to trade, are you going to get MVP Carson Wentz that got that big contract extension, or are you going to get Carson Wentz from this year, had more picks and touchdowns, led the league in interceptions when he started?
And another thing, I mean, people were using that excuse that his offensive line is terrible, his receivers are terrible, but, you know, PFF did a study on it, and he had the worst completion percentage with a good pocket around him, with, you know, not under pressure out of all 32 quarterbacks. Like, Mitch Trubisky did better than him in that category. So, yeah, I get that he had a bad offensive line, but even when the offensive line was playing good,
other teams have bad offensive lines too. It's not just him. I mean, you look at, just throwing it just off the top of my head, I mean, the Bengals offensive line, horrible, got Joe Burrow hurt. I mean, Carson Wentz's offensive line was better than that, and he was
just holding on to the ball too long. He was just having bad passes.
I think it was just him. Like, you see some plays, especially going back to the beginning of the season. I remember watching some of the games, and it's just he looked like he's trying to do too much. Like, he's scrambling instead of throwing it away. He's trying to throw a late check down, getting the ball batted down, getting a pick, taking a sack. Like, I think he was just trying to do too much. Which, I mean, as a quarterback, you kind of feel like you would have to, considering the lack of weapons they had. But I mean, still, it's not an excuse for it. I mean, you got to be better.
And you have to be a special character to play in Philly. I mean, the way those fans are, they turn on you quick.
Any player, you see it as just a fan how toxic Philly fans are. I mean, it's like a league known thing, in the football world. I just think that Carson Wentz, I think he could use a change of scenery, but I don't know what they're going to do. I think there's definitely a very big, maybe even top of the league quarterback controversy in Philly right now, like there was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I'm just having doubts on his character because, defying coaches, going to a college like North Dakota State, he didn't deal with these many fans. He didn't deal with, the pressure situations, winning the national championship, big bowl games. He was playing, with bums per se, but
bums. I mean, I see what you're saying.
But then now he's in the NFL with the worst fan base coming at him, and it's he's under pressure, and he might need to get to Indy.
He was a top 2 pick. But that should say something. Enough teams aren't going to draft you just second overall if they don't see something in you. But I think that you're right. He needs to change the scenery. But based off of all this league around the league speculations, like I said earlier, about how the front office of the Eagles is telling the head coach interviewers, the guys that they're interviewing for head coach, that they want to stick with Carson Wentz. I just don't know where they're going to go. I think there's definitely big controversy here.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy offseason to see, you know. And I think the training camp battle with Jalen Hurts and Carson Wentz might be there too.
If he's still on the team by then, I mean, who knows?
If he's still on the team, yeah.
I could definitely see him getting traded. Like the Colts, they need a quarterback. Phillip Rivers probably going to retire. Frank Reich and Carson Wentz, they have that connection from the Super Bowl year. I think if there's one team that I could see trading for him, I think it's the Indianapolis Colts.
I mean, I could also see the Niners as maybe like a dark horse team because I think they're just a quarterback away from a Super Bowl too. I do think their number one target's Watson, though, 100%. And I think if they get Watson, then that's what they want to do.
We'll talk about. You'll hear that on the podcast more. I was talking about that, but I mean, I don't know. It's just the whole situation's weird to me. I mean, they're definitely they could be a team in the market for a quarterback too, depending on how they want to do this. I don't think that there's any trade value for Jalen Hurts at all. I mean, second-year quarterback didn't look that great. I don't think they would be able to get really anything for him. But I mean, Carson Wentz holds some value just because, I mean, like I don't know.
You got to also remember, I mean, Jalen Hurts, there is some value there. I wouldn't go that far. He was a second-round pick, and he didn't do terrible. But I think if they trade Carson Wentz, they're going to take a big hit with his contract. Like,
I mean,
think
would
they
you
take
rather
a big cap hit.
Yeah, but I mean, would you rather do it now, like when it's lower, or like wait until it gets super high, keep him on the team, and he doesn't perform the expectations if you name him the starter? I mean, and then you're just beat.
No, I'd try to get rid of him if I was there.
I would definitely, if I'm the GM of the Eagles, I'm trying to shop Carson Wentz around. I mean, he had a good time in Philly. He was okay, but I think he definitely needs a change of scenery.
I agree.
Alrighty, and that's going to conclude today's exclusive segment from the greatest podcast on turf. Make sure to like this video, subscribe if you're new, leave your guys' thoughts in the comments. Definitely love to hear your guys' feedback. Ryan got destroyed on the one video.
Yeah.
But make sure to click the link tree in our bio in the description of the video. That has all our social media links, our Instagram, our podcast links.
Take care, guys. We'll see you next time.
See you.